Welcome to another episode of Argument Saturdays, and this week I decided to take a look at the Killer Shrews, which I got in this movie collection, the Jurassic Collection, 7 movies. Though, what do Killer Shrews have to do with dinosaurs? Well, absolutely nothing, obviously. The title's probably a play on words, because most of these movies are old creature features. I mean, you got the giant Gila monster creature, piranhas, the Phantom from 10,000 Leagues, Attack of the Giant Leeches, and Voyage to the Prehistoric Planet, and of course, the Killer Shrews. Obviously, most of these movies are rather old and dated, if not all of them, because they don't list years dates next to any of them, so I'd have to go look up each movie to find out exactly when all of them were released, and I really don't care too much, to be honest. As far as the movie itself goes, well, I guess we should start out by pointing out that there's obviously not going to be giant killer shrews in this movie, because, well, it's an old movie. How on earth are they going to get a giant killer shrew? It's not like you can just CGI that thing up. This is from 1959. This is an old black and white movie. So what do? Well, you gotta get a dog and put it into a shrew costume. Or, I guess, give it a wig and a bath mat. Same thing, right? Yeah. The costumes in this movie are probably about on par with this, outfit I put on my, dog. Well, I guess technically it's the family dog, but yeah. And then we decided to torture Lacey a bit and give her the outfit for a while. I don't think she really got hurt, except maybe her pride. She really was pretty sad when we did it. I guess she considered it a form of punishment. Sort of like when you try putting her into a harness to walk her, because she likes to strangle herself on her leash at this point. Personal preference, what can I say? Maybe she's just used to it. She doesn't like the feeling of the straps on her whole body when she can just used to just have to worry about pulling on her neck. I don't get it. I mean, I'm not a dog, so I don't understand. But enough of the side distractions. I guess there's just not too much I have to say about the Killer Shrews. I mean, it's gonna be basically what you expect. I think probably. It's an old B-grade horror movie. I mean, there's just not much to say about it. I mean, you got relatively stock plot lines, standard tropes. I mean, the black guy dies first, the Mexican dies next. Only one white guy in the entire movie dies, and there's only 6 people on the island, so 2 of them being minorities had to die first. The scientist that created them lives somehow, but whatever. His daughter obviously had to live because she's the romantic love interest of our hero, the captain of a boat, who basically tells him, well, a hurricane's coming. Of course, the movie is misrepresentative, in my opinion, since it says they managed to escape during a hurricane on the back of the box here. It's probably hard to read, and I probably have a hard time centering it, but that's what it says. Yeah, I know it's hard. I can't read it, but yeah, it says they escaped during a hurricane. This is not true. They were accidentally released by the scientists themselves many weeks ago, and they've now populated the islands to the point where it's overpopulated, and they've eaten everything, basically. In fact, they even ate a bunch of poison food the scientists had left out in the hopes that it'd kill them. And it doesn't. Apparently they got super poison from it, because reasons, I guess. I mean, it's not like shrews don't naturally... Some bestial shrews actually are venomous. I guess that's not really the correct term here. Have a poisonous bite, or that releases a neurotoxin. So there's nothing really wrong with saying these shrews have a lethal bite, because they'd probably be producing enough to be serious. That would potentially kill a human being. Actually, it probably would kill a human being at that size, assuming that they're producing venom in an increased amount as well, and their bites would be able to deliver more of it. Though the real problem is that the movie doesn't make much logical sense when you get right down to it. Not the whole giant shrew point. I mean, I'm not saying that doesn't make sense. I mean, obviously that doesn't make sense either, because there's no way you can manipulate the genes of a shrew to the point where it grow to being 50 to 100 pounds probably from a couple generations. Much less one generation. I mean, that's completely ridiculous. Now, what doesn't make sense in this movie is why the shrews are constantly sitting outside the house and constantly probing it, looking for a weak spot in the defenses. Besides the fact that shrews are solo hunters that really don't get along well in the group, shrews carving out their own territories and really only getting together to mate, from what I understand. The shrews are cannibalistic when they get really hungry. So the first thing they're going to go after is probably each other, because it's a lot easier to go after a readily available food source, than trying to get inside the house where they know there's people at, but I can't get to them very easily, so maybe I should just snack on my bros, you know. I mean, it just hangs me up on this movie, and it's just hard for me to ignore. Well, that, and obviously how bad the costumes are on the dogs. I mean, they just look so ridiculous, it's funny. I guess you could argue that this is a campy, maybe it's a bit of a campy experience now. But it's hard to take this movie seriously or get all that offended by it, no matter how bad it gets, because you're like, well, it's a strangely watchable train wreck. Though I guess that's true with just about any train wreck, right? You'll be damned if you can look away. So yeah, this one is one of those that you can't look away. You get a strange sort of perverse pleasure from it too, because you're like, I know it's bad, but it's so bad it's hilarious. Or at least it's mostly hilarious. It's pretty amusing entertainment, actually, for what it is. Maybe they just hit the right kind of bad, you know. I mean, there's different kinds of bad. There's the good bad, and then you got the it's just bad. It's a bit difficult to describe, I guess. But yeah, The Killer Shrews is one of those movies that I guess you have to experience for yourself to know if you're going to like hate it or love it. Until next time, then, we'll all be looking at. Let me reach over here real quick. Dun dun dun! Captain America. Yeah, these are not action-packed movies. Starring Reb Brown. At least in the first one. Probably both, actually. Yeah. And yes, I know Spoonie already covered these, but why not? I got it for $3.74. Till then, see ya.
Well, you know something, Doctor? What's that? I'm not going to worry about overpopulation just yet.